Hello, I'm Father Jaques Sawadogo. I'm coming from Burkina Faso, from the Diocese of Wayugia in the northern part of Burkina Faso. Very shortly, how my vocation came about. I was born in a Christian family and I was baptized as a child. All my sisters and brothers were also baptized as children. But I may say that it was not like that with the generation of my parents. My parents got baptized when they were already grown up. We are the second or the third generation of Christians in our country because Christianity is not that old in Burkina Faso. Soon as child, I was very active in the Christian community in my town. And as child, I was mass server, for example, and I was very active in the group of the children of my parish. I attended a minor seminary. That's a school. Let's say that's a secondary school where the young men go in, and for some periods they think, they reflect, and they make a discernment as to go to the major seminary or to go to the university. After 8 years of thinking, I decided to go to the major seminary, and I had my philosophical studies in Ouagadougou. That's the capital city of Burkina. And after my theological studies, I went to Ghana. My bishop, Bishop Philip, asked me to go to Ghana to have my theology in English. He wanted priests who can be fluent in French and English. That's the one of the reason why I went there. And yeah, I had my theological studies in Ghana, and I was ordained priest on the 22nd of November 2008. After my priestly ordination, I was appointed at the Cathedral Parish of Wayugia, where I worked 3 years. And after these 3 years, I was moved to another parish called Kongusi. There, I stayed 2 years. After Kongusi, I was appointed as teacher in the minor seminary of Wayuguya. In 2016, I was sent by my bishop to the diocese of C in France, that's in Normandy. And there, I stayed 6 years and I worked as curate, as parish priest, and as dean of the pôle missionnaire du pays d'Auge. Since 2022, I came here in Frankfurt, in Germany, for a specialization in dogmatic theology. Since some number of years, Burkina Faso has been victim of terrorist attacks. Personally, I've not been a victim or I have not personally witnessed it, but I know of priests and of lay people who have been victims and have been witnesses of these attacks. In my diocese, for example, the bishop was obliged to close some of the parishes because the Christians and the priests were many times under terrorist attacks, and the priests were moved to other places, and the Christians were also obliged to run away from their villages and from their towns and to seek refuge in other places where they could feel themselves better. That a priest recently confessed to Aid to the Church in Need Foundation that when he left home, he did not know whether he will be able to come back or not is true and is a reality in Burkina Faso because the situation of insecurity is everywhere, and in a particular way in the dioceses in the northern part and in the west, apart from the diocese of Ouagadougou and maybe Bobo Dioulasso, we can say that many dioceses have really under attacks. because in many of the dioceses, you do not know who is whom. These terrorists, they are maybe living with the people, and it's not only those who come from outside to attack, but the problem is that we feel that this insecurity is everywhere. And even when you leave a place, one place in Burkina Faso, to go to the other place, until you reach that place, you are really uncomfortable because everything can happen at any time. Everything can happen at any time. And we have been witnesses of priests who were kidnapped. For example, a parish priest of Jibo, he was kidnapped since 2018, I think, and until now, they have not yet found him. And in my own diocese in Burkina Faso, in Wayugia, the parish priest of Tiu was kidnapped, but thanks be to God, he was released after some hours. So, what this priest is saying is really true, because this insecurity is a reality. And until you leave a place and get where you are going to in safety, it's difficult to say that okay, your journey was a successful one or not. Despite this situation of persecution and of difficulties of the church in Burkina, uh, the Christians do not stop going to church. So they keep on doing it. Either they gather themselves in the churches to pray, or they gather themselves in the in houses where they can also pray. What is giving them this strength? I think this is first and foremost the grace of God. It is this grace of God that enables them not to give up. And secondly, we know that many people are praying for us. And because of this willingness, this awareness that they are not alone in their sufferings, they keep on going to the churches, they keep on living their faith. And thirdly, we also know that from the history of the church, when persecution comes, when difficulties come, it is also a way for the Christian to keep united, to be united, and it also awakens in them this awareness of martyrdom. And that's why we can also thank all the people who are praying for us, because we need it, so that the church may not die there, so that the faith may not die there. In Burkina Faso, in the surroundings countries like Mali and Niger, there is insecurity, there is this situation of terrorism. Should we say that this is a systematic persecution of Christians? It's difficult to say that, because among those who are dying, many are also Muslims. Many are not Christians, because there are also attacks of mosques. When the terrorists come to a village and they kill the people, not everybody is a Christian. I think this one is very important to say, because before this period, Christians and Muslims and the people of the traditional religion, they were really living in very good accord. In one family, you can find many people who are belonging to several religions who are living together. So, but as a religious community, we can say that is particularly difficult for the Christians, because those who are coming to attack, one of their reasons, one of their what their aims is that people should convert to radical Islamism. But it is also not easy to say that this is a religious genocide. It is not easy to say that this is a religious genocide, because um, is not systematically targeted to Christians. That's why the situation in Burkina Faso is complicated. We do not know exactly, is it really a religious war? Is it really a war against the regime that is there? Is it a war against all that is Western? So it's really difficult to say that this is a religious genocide. So our hope is that people will convert and that will come back together and live as it was before. What can you do for the church in Burkina Faso? I think that you are already doing many things. You are already doing much for us because we know that you are keeping us in prayer. And even the only fact of thinking about us, the simple fact of asking me to come and talk about the situation in Burkina Faso, really, that's something great. And we ask you to continue praying for us. Keep on praying for us. I think the first thing we need is prayer. Pray for us. Pray for those who are persecuting the church. Pray for these terrorists, so that the good Lord may touch their hearts. So that the good Lord may touch their hearts and lead them into conversion. So, because we are Christians and the message of Christ is not that we hate people, the message of Christ is that we love people and even our enemies. We are really confronted to the message of the gospel. So please pray for us. Secondly, many of those people who are fleeing from running away from their villages, from their towns, need material support, because many just leave the places like that without taking anything. And many Christians who run away from their villages and from their towns find refuge in our parish homes, in our parish houses. When you go in some of the parishes in towns, you find that people are there, refugees are there, and the Christian communities, they do what they can do to help them, but they also need the help and the support of other people. And secondly, many of the children who are leaving the towns and the villages come to towns, they have to go to school. And we know that in Burkina Faso, to be able to go to school, you need to pay. So when the situation is like that, many come to the priest and ask them for help. Many come to the priest and ask them for support. It's the same thing with those who fall sick. When they go to the hospital, they need help, they need money to be able to be taken care of. So many also come to the priest and ask for support. Thanks be to God, we know that we are already doing many things for our country, and we thank you, yeah, for what you continue doing for us. But I think the first thing we need is really to pray for us, not only for Burkina Faso, but also for all countries where there is war, so that our world may live in peace.